Hey, what's going on, guys? It is the Nicholas Persakis Chelsea Football Channel, and back here for the match preview of Chelsea versus Ghent. Not to be mistaken with Genk of Belgium, because of obviously where we bought Kevin De Bruyne from. Of course, we bought Kevin De Bruyne from Genk, Ghent, and Genk, different places in Belgium, or different, I think different places in Belgium, but different teams is the separation I like to call it. So going into this game, you're going to see obviously again probably 11 or 10 switches. Um, Based off the Carabao Cup game, you saw an entire starting 11 switch except from Malo Gusto. So you saw 10 changes. You might see another 10 changes in this one. I think there's a chance we might honestly see 11. I have a good in my lineup. I have the full 11, I think, changed. I'm almost certain. So it's another game where we're going to be seeing a rotated lineup and a B team play. The way Maresca has been playing this season in cup games in Europe, basis versus the Premier League, you're seeing basically two different lineups. Two different lineups. You're seeing the B team and the A team. The A team is obviously the strongest team playing in the more important games, and that second team is playing in the non-important games. We'll see how that ends up becoming in the FA Cup because will he treat the FA Cup more, more as a major competition? I'm not sure he cares about all these competitions, but I'm sure that, he might treat the FA Cup more, or maybe the earlier rounds he'll treat kind of like how the Carabao Cup is. But we'll end up having to see how many more bigger players play later in these competitions. Because, as it gets later into competitions, like you always see, like I'm pretty sure like our top players played in the bigger competitions at the end. Like we almost went to two finals in these competitions last year. So, we've had our bigger players playing in them. Of course, there were so many injuries that they had to play almost, but it's talking about will he switch out the players who got them there for the players that haven't played as much in the competition. So it'll be interesting to see. But talking about Ghent, they are, I think, currently sitting in third place in Belgium, a solid team on an okay, solid form. But Belgium it's not a horrible league. Again, though, we're Chelsea Football Club. We're not a team. We're not Conference League is not something we've ever been in. Of course, it's only been around for a handful of time. But at the same time, when it comes to the teams in this competition, there isn't many teams we should be losing to. That's why the Servette loss was something that was so bad in my eyes. I didn't really care that we went through. The fact that we lost to them was just it really mentally killed me because I'm like, dude, I don't care that we went through. The fact is we couldn't beat Servette at their home place. I don't care where it was located. That had nothing to do with it. It annoyed the shit out of me that we couldn't beat a team from Switzerland. Again, not a horrible team because every team is going to show up on certain days. But the fact is, that was one of the biggest games they probably play in so long, and they beat us. And they probably were like, wow, hats off. We almost won. Probably could have won. But the thing is, we're going to this game against Genk, or Ghent, my bad, Ghent, and they're going to be looking to get a win. Of course, we're at home. We're coming off a game where we win 4-2 at um at Brighton, a game where Cole Palmer showed his brilliance. He obviously won't be playing in this game, so there'll be someone different. But we're gonna have to see that B team how they played in the Carabao Cup game. We might have to see a little bit more individualism, but we'll have to see more tactics from this one. We'll probably end up seeing the 3-2 4-1 in this one. We'll get into that match preview and that match lineup and what I think in just a second. But I really want to see this B team improve. I want to see this B team show that they can, some of these guys can try and make their mark and find their way into this lineup. There's a certain player in our defense that I think, if he plays well enough, he definitely could move his way into the lineup because of certain mistakes and certain errors that have occurred this season that have forced him in. But haven't looked good on him to start the season. And I think this guy's been better. So let's get into the lineup and let's check this shit out. This is the lineup I have currently for this Chelsea versus Gent game. I think this is the lineup we'll see, and this is the lineup that I also want to see. The only, actually, to be honest, this is the lineup I think we'll see, but there's one change in it that I would make. It all depends on honestly, the only position I think that's a heads up right now is the right back position. Actually, I forgot to change Sanchez. It's going to be Jorgensen. I forgot to make that change, but there is a change I'm also going to make at the right back position. Personally, I don't think that I don't want to see Disasi play. I think there's a shot that he'll play at right back because of how we play this 3-2-4 system, and I think that he'll play Disasi as a right center back. That's the only reason I have Disasi in here. However, before I get into the overall lineup, I think I would much rather play Achiampong. 100%. 100%. A guy who's obviously more of a center back, but he's played right back for the academy. And at least he could play both positions, and he could do a decent job. And he played pretty decently well in that Carabao Cup game. Of course, it's not much pressure. This would be a lot bigger, more of a pressure game. You're giving your guy who's 18 years old his first European minutes. But you need to give minutes to guys somehow. So I would much rather see this lineup. Much rather see this lineup. I would love to see Achi Pong get the minutes in this one. However, I think we'll see Disasi. There's also a chance we could see Malo Gusto come in wherever he is. There he is. We could see Malo Gusto play. Of course, it's, in my opinion, we don't know how bad that hamstring injury he suffered was, but at the same time, is it good to be playing this guy in all competition? He's the only right back we have right now if you don't count Chiapong. He's the only guy we have. Reece James is 100% fit. We don't know when he's going to be back. Who knows when he'll be fully fit? Malo Gusto is the only actual right back we have as a rotational option right now. If it's not him, it's Achiampong. But I think that he'll play Disasi at right back tomorrow because I think he'll be playing like we usually see. I think we'll be seeing the system kind of like this. I think we'll see that 3-2-4 structure. And I think that we'll see Tosin right in the middle. I think we'll see Badiashile as a left center back. And then Vega will be the person inverting into the midfield to play alongside Casade. Because I think that, obviously, like I said, Romeo Lavia won't start. I think we'll have either Caicedo or Enzo on the bench. But I think that Casade will be the pivot tomorrow alongside Jasper Hall. I think he probably liked what he saw in that game or in the Carabao Cup to be able to give him another shot. I think it's something we'll see. So let's get into the overall lineup. I'm going to keep it in the 3-2-4-1 structure because I think it's how we'll play tomorrow. So Jorgensen in net, he played pretty well in the Barrow game, but how it wasn't hard for him to play well against a League Two side. Badiashile, another guy who played pretty well in that Carabao Cup game, but again, like, I can't judge people based off a game where you're playing against such low level competition that it's not even much of a problem for you. So Badiashile, he needs the minutes to prove himself, and these are about the best games he's going to get. He's not going to get Premier League minutes. He hasn't gotten a single Premier League minute this season. It's probably annoyed him, but who cares? He hasn't showed last season. He showed like he couldn't get those minutes. He shouldn't have gotten those minutes, but he was the only guy who could get those minutes. So he's going to get these minutes in the cup games, and he's got to prove himself in those cup games to get more minutes, possibly in the Premier League. Even though I think that Levi Colwill and Wesley Fofana might play a bunch of these games this season, but that gets on to my point about Tosin. Tosin has played very well all the season. He played great in the fill-in for, I think, that Wolves game, and then he played in. Did he play in that West Ham game? I don't know. I think it. No, it was the Bournemouth game. It was the Bournemouth game. He played, I think, both in the West Ham game, or not the West Ham game, the Wolves game and the Bournemouth game, and he looked great in that center defense. So Tosin, I think, excellent player. He needs more minutes as well. They've already said he's a leader in that locker room. I mean, dude, give him the armband for this game. Who on the current field here would you give the armband to? And I think in this Carabao Cup game last week, they gave it to Disasi. I'd much rather give it to Tosin. Much rather give it to Tosin. But the players love Disasi, I think. That's why they give it to him. And I think he's a good leadership person. But I don't know if I like Disasi myself. For Disasi, I think just plays this game because he needs the minutes as well. And I think that's what Maresca will do. There's a chance we'll see Achi and Pong off the bench, but it all depends, I think, as well on the score. Vega and Casade. Vega's bit was splendid in that game against Brighton when he played the last 20 minutes. He was incredible. He was making all the tackles, making all the clearances. He was everywhere on the field. He was a great. The announcers were saying, like, oh, I wouldn't have subbed off Cucurella. He's having a great game. Then Vega came on and showed the exact same energy. Cucurella was great, splendid in that game against Brighton, but Vega showed the exact same thing, and that's what we want to see out of this guy. He's got all the energy as well. Casade, I didn't think he was anywhere too spectacular in that Carabao Cup game versus Barrow, but at the same time, I also thought he was good enough to deserve these minutes in these cup competitions. So I also could see a way that he plays again in the pivot. I can't see a way he gets higher in the field. I think he sits as well alongside the pivot, alongside Vega. Now, getting into the middle four, or I guess the front four, front five, I guess it would be. Let's start on the wings first, and then we'll go up to the middle. Honestly, let's just get these two guys out of the way. Felix and Nkunku, proven guys. They deserve to get this playing time. Even in the Premier League, they haven't gotten it yet. It's going to come soon. These guys are too talented to be stuck on the bench and playing in these smaller end games. Of course, it's Europe. These guys, in my eyes, any games in Europe are not small games. Of course, it's the Conference League, and these guys would much rather be not be playing in the Conference League. They're too good for Conference League. But at the same time, they're too good. And Kuko's a fantastic player. He's going to start up top. And Guiu's not there yet. Felix is the attacking midfielder for this competition and cup competitions. So he's going to be stuck in there. Then it gets on to mainly the left attacking midfielder, the left winger, and then I think Pedro Neto is a given for this right hand side today or on Thursday. I don't think Madueke won't play, I don't think, for this game. If a guy comes off the bench as a sub for a winger, it's going to be Tyreek George. I think that it's almost a given that Tyreek George will be the first winger I put on this game. But the only thing I look at, and I look at this team, and I'm really thinking to myself, what would I major? What would I change? I think I'm guaranteed to say, okay, Mudryk did enough in that Carabao Cup game. He's a player who needs the confidence. You saw in that second half when he got that assist, he looked so much better. His confidence was so much better. But Shrewsbury Hall is a player who has not started this season very well. His Chelsea career has not started very well. They're already comparing this guy to Danny Drinkwater, who was just bought because of that amazing season he had, or pretty solid season he had at Leicester. Nothing more than that. But Shrewsbury Hall needs to prove himself. He needs to show more. A guy who's part of this Maresca system at Leicester last season, he needs to prove more. So the fact is, Shrewsbury Hall, in my opinion, is a player who easily could be swapped out with Carney Chukwuemeka. Easily could be swapped out with Carney Chukwuemeka. And it pains my heart the fact that Carney isn't playing because this guy is so talented. What we saw in that Barrow game, he was on for 10 minutes and he looked miles better than most any of those players. But that's obvious. He should be. But we saw his quality last season when he had the game time. Sucks that he had those injuries because if he didn't get injured, there's a chance he could have been a day one starter in this team or at least a first sub, second sub off the bench. So it's one of those things where the injuries have killed him. Maresca has said he's going to either be sold in January or loaned out because he wanted him to get 30 to 35 games. But I would love to see Carney start, even though I think in this one it's gonna be Shrewsbury Hall. I don't see a world that Shrewsbury Hall doesn't play this game. He needs to build his confidence too, and I think that, this is a game where he needs to prove. This is my lineup. I personally think this is the exact same team we'll see. I will be very surprised if he plays a different person at right back outside of DCC. I'd be very happy if he does, but I think we're going to DC DCC. If it's Achiempong, well done, lad. Well done. Let me know what you guys think. Personally, myself, I am obviously pretty confident for this game. What my prediction for this one is 3-1. I for some reason think that they'll get a goal in this one. I think that this game just screams they'll get some type of goal. In a way, like I said, I think we'll get a few clean sheets in these first 6 games in the Conference League. I think that some of our teams, like I think we'll go to Armenia and we'll get a clean sheet. I mean, I can't see a way that we let up a goal to an Armenian team. Like our quality is so much better than these teams. Like Panathinaikos, I think when we go to Panathinaikos and we go to Greece, I think we'll concede. But sticking to this game, I think a 3-1 win is what we'll see. When it comes to the goal scorers, I think we'll see Nkunku. I think Nkunku will score first. I think Pedro Neto will get another one, and I think that we'll see for the last one. I want to say Joe Mega gets one off the bench, but I don't even know if he'll play, let alone, I want to say he's going to get a goal because for some reason I think he'll just get a goal in this one, but I don't even know if he'll play. Fuck it. We'll say Chukwuemeka gets the third goal. I honestly not sure if he'll even play in this game, but I think we'll see Nkunku, Neto, and Chukwuemeka score. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys on Thursday for that match reaction. Should be after the game or a little after the game. Thank you very much. See you then. Peace.